Hello besties, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Hallie and I'm so happy that you're here. I am so excited for today's video because I think that the day that this video is going to be posted, we are celebrating the 1-year anniversary of my very first Harry Potter readathon, which if you haven't watched that one yet, go watch it first because you need the lore. So 1 year later, we are going to be attempting once again to read Harry Potter for 24 hours. I have grown a lot since then as a person, as a reader, and I'm hoping that we don't end today's video with any mental breakdowns. Now, to start off this video, I have a little haul of things because if you watched the first video, Mark went and picked out one energy drink that matched each cover of the book in the whole Harry Potter series. So I thought it was only fitting that I went and grabbed a few haljones. I didn't necessarily get them to match the colors of the covers again, but I got cherry slush, pink slush, which this one is so good. It's been my favorite flavor recently. And then I got cosmic stardust. I was gonna get the witch's brew because that just felt like that makes sense for a Harry Potter reading vlog, but I couldn't find any. So I feel like they don't necessarily match the covers of the books, but I feel like, I mean, the red one at least, I don't know. But I have energy drinks, which is so funny because it did in fact put me to sleep in the first video, but I think I'll be okay if I drink it during the day. I don't know, actually. I just like the way that they taste and sometimes I have them, but I can't have it too soon in my coffee because I will in fact get anxiety. So we're gonna have to very precisely measure out my caffeine intake today. But I got those, and then I got 2 little packs of nerd clusters because if you know me, these are my obsession, genuinely. Like, I don't even crave any other candy, any other anything besides Nerds clusters. I don't know what kind of drugs they're putting in here, but it's addicting. This one is grape strawberry blitz, and these ones are so good. I feel like these ones are like my second favorite, and then the blue ones are like my all-time favorite flavor. So we have a cute little bowl of sour snacks. We have some Alanis, and now on to the books. So 1 year ago when I did this challenge, I attempted to read the first Harry Potter. In that video, I was planning on getting like 2 or 3 through. I was delusional because for some reason I was struggling to get through this book. I only finished this book in the 24-hour challenge, and then I had a mental breakdown and then the video was over. So finished this one last year. I think I rated it like a 3. I also did not know going into this that this is, I think, middle grade, someone said in the comments. I was thinking it was like a YA, but I guess it's not even YA. Like, it's literally for children, like a children's book. So it was good, you know, it was good. So today we are obviously going to be starting off with book number 2, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I am a little bit nervous to be doing this again because I feel like I just have PTSD from my first time doing this because it was so like tragic, but I'm optimistic and I feel like we can do it. But to relieve some pressure off of myself, I am in fact setting my expectations to only finish Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, okay? That way, if that happens again, I won't be so disappointed in myself. I do, however, have the next 2 books sitting here just in case I get past Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I also have Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I feel like I'm really excited to get to this book because for some reason in my mind, I feel like this book is where it's gonna kind of like switch to being more like YA and maybe a little bit more interesting. I feel like this one's a little bit thicker too, so maybe this is the book where I'll start kind of getting details where you didn't get it in the movie. So book number 3, I do have book 4 here, which is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, which she's about 700 pages, so I don't think I'm going to finish this book at least. Maybe I will start it if I'm like ballin', but I don't know. Not putting too much expectation on that. Those are the 3 Harry Potter books that we are going to be trying to read in today's 24-hour readathon. I'm so excited to be doing this. I can't believe that it's already been a year since I posted the last Harry Potter readathon. So buckle in, besties. We are going to have a cozy little 24-hour fall reading challenge to celebrate 1 year since my Harry Potter mental breakdown. I have already set the mood. I have some Harry Potter ambiance on the TV. It's like Hogwarts, cozy fall Hogwarts something with like wizard music and stuff. And then there's a Halloween at Hogwarts one that I'm gonna put on tonight because it's like nighttime throughout the whole Hogwarts ground. I actually watched it the other day while I was reading too, and it was like so cozy. So I'm excited to watch that one tonight. But for during the day, I felt like this was such a cute and cozy setting. So I'm gonna stop procrastinating because I'm just nervous to start this because last time, I swear I literally have like PTSD PTSD from that. I got put into such a bad book slump. I literally had a mental breakdown. I was so disappointed in myself. I'm just not gonna think about it, honestly. Let's just start the book and we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna try and read the first like 50 pages maybe, and then I'll check in with you guys and we'll see how it's going, how we're feeling. First of all, let me go ahead and start the timer. I am in fact going to be doing 2 12-hour days. A 24-hour straight readathon is already so hard, and doing it with the Harry Potter books, which I already had a hard time with, I feel like it's just setting myself up for failure. So we're going to be reading it today and tomorrow. Let's get started. Okay, hello. It has been just over 3 hours. I have made it to page 92, chapter, what chapter is that? 6. I've only got distracted a couple of times. I'm honestly doing really good. I have noticed, I feel like this one already is like keeping my attention way easier than the first one. It's so crazy because I'm almost 100 pages in, but the point that we've gotten to in the story is literally only the first, like, I don't know, it has to be only like 10 minutes into the movie maybe, but it's taken me 3 hours to get to that point. So it's crazy to like kind of see the difference in like the pace of the movie versus the books, because how is 10 minutes of the movie worth 3 hours of the book? You know, that's just crazy to me. It's really interesting. I felt this way with the first book too. I feel like the more that I read the books of Harry Potter, the more that I am like so amazed with like the movie adaptation, because yes, I feel like there's obviously things that they didn't add to the movie, but I feel like, at least so far, and I'm only on the second book, so honestly I don't really have that much of a input on it, but I feel like so far it seems like they did a really good job at adapting the movies, and like the things that are included in the book that weren't included in the movies I feel like aren't super huge things. Like I feel like they did a really good job at picking what was gonna go into the movie and what was not. I will say though, one thing that I noticed, which by the way, if you've never read Harry Potter or seen it, I'm gonna be talking about some of the characters and stuff, so I mean I don't want to spoil anything, but that's your warning. I'm gonna be talking about characters and like differences between the movies and the books and stuff like that. But anyway, one thing that I have noticed is in the movies, and I don't know if this is just like because it flew over my head or something, but in the movies I feel like you really only talk about Ron's older brother Percy, who's like the prefect and like the oldest brother that's currently at Hogwarts, and then his one older brother who's like in Romania or something doing the dragons. So I don't know, again, if I just never noticed it, but he has 2 older brothers, and one of them is in Romania and then one of them is in Egypt or something, which I do remember them taking a family vacation there. But so maybe this is my fault. Maybe I just combined the 2 older brothers as one brother and like never realized that it was actually 2 older brothers, or I don't really know. I need to like rewatch the movie and see how they did it. So that's one thing that I noticed was a little bit different. And I feel like also in the book so far, the older brother Percy, who's like a prefect, like I feel like in the movie he's not really like a big part of the plot in like all of that, but in the book there's been like multiple scenes where he seems like shady and like he's hiding something really important, and I feel like I don't remember that being part of the plot in the movie. And like again, maybe I'm just completely forgetting and it actually was also a huge part of the movie and I'll feel kind of dumb after watching this back, but as far as I can remember right now, I feel like I don't really remember the older brother having like a huge part of the plot where he was like kind of being not shady, but just I don't know, he's like sneaking off to himself and like reading weird books and I don't know, like being like questionable behavior, you know? So I'm really interested to see if he ends up having a bigger portion in the book than in the movie and like what that even will be. And this is a huge reason why I wanted to read the books as well, because I love the movies so much, and so I know that I'm gonna love all the books too, because you just get an entire another layer to the world that you already love. What is going on? Which way are you trying to go? Like that? Is that better? So anyway, that's one thing that I noticed. I also have heard a lot of people say that in the books, Ginny, Ron's youngest sister, has like a lot more depth to her character and she's like a huge part of the plot. Whereas in the movies, like, yes, she's a big part of the plot, but I feel like her character really doesn't have that much depth. Like she's just Ginny, you know? And so I'm really excited to like see farther into her character. We haven't really gotten that far into her character yet in the book, but I am very interested to see. I feel like there's something else that I I noticed that was different, but now I can't remember. I need to start writing it down, honestly. From now on, I'll have to try and remember to like write it down in my notes or something when I notice something, because I feel like there was something else, but I literally cannot remember what it was now. So anyway, it is now 1:16. Currently, I have 8 hours and 51 minutes left on my timer, but like I said, I'm trying to like make this a lot more low pressure than my first Harry Potter readathon was. So I am gonna take a lunch break. Mark just brought home some Chipotle, so he's gonna come in here and eat it with me. And I think because I don't have like the audiobook for any of the Harry Potter books or anything like that, so I think instead what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play the Harry Potter movie so that I'm kind of like still in the Harry Potter world for the whole 12 hours, even though I'm taking a lunch break. But instead, like when I read the first book, I played the first movie along with it, and I think that's another mistake that I made, because all of the events of the first book were like so fresh in my mind because I had literally like just watched the movie 6,000 times while reading the book. So I feel like I'm not going to watch the second movie. I'm going to instead put on the first movie while I eat lunch, so I can still be in the Harry Potter world, but I'm not going over anything that specifically happens in this book, and hopefully that will help. You're a psycho. He is so cute. I wish you could see how he's looking at me a little. Bentley. You're so cute. Anyway, I am not going to watch the second book. That way it doesn't go over anything, and hopefully it will help keep my attention because none of these events will be like fresh in my brain from the movie. And then right when I finish eating, I will pick up the book right away again and continue on my way. But so far, I'm really enjoying it. I'm like so happy that I'm not having a hard time focusing. I feel like part of the issue too was like I must have just been having a really bad ADHD day. Like some days it is definitely harder to focus. Like in one of my recent vlogs, actually, I just posted where I was having such a hard time focusing and I ended up having to listen to the audiobook while I read along. So that must have been the issue with the first book. Or maybe like, I don't know, the content of it was just not as interesting. Maybe it was just because it was the first book and it was a lot more setup too, you know, like the plot was a little bit slower. I don't know why, but I am really enjoying the second one so far. I am moving through it slowly but steadily. I think in my first video, literally at this point, I was maybe like 10 pages in. So I'm calling it a win so far. So anyway, we're gonna have lunch break, watch a little bit of the first movie, and then read some more. And I will check in with you guys in a little bit. What is going on? I think I'm gonna give him a little bone so that he has something to chew on because he seems a little bit antsy. You want a little treat? He's looking at me like, don't play around with me. Anyway, that's what I'm gonna do. I will see you guys in a little bit. Hello besties, it is much later. It is 8:48 p.m. and I have an hour and wow, why is my screen so bright? I have an hour and 19 minutes left on the timer and I have officially finished Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Let's get a round of applause because I have not cried, I have not had any mental breakdowns, and I finished a book. This is a major success, you guys. I mean, I could end the video here and it'd be a success, but I am feeling ambitious because I have an hour left on the timer. I mean, after I sit here and talk, I'll probably have, right now it's an hour and 18 minutes, but I'll probably have like an hour left after I finish, you know, because I can't stop running my mouth ever. But I think I'm going to start Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban tonight as well because I will have an hour left on the timer. And they do have it on Kindle Unlimited, and I feel like it will just be so cute and cozy to end the night starting the next book on Kindle. Really quickly, I want to give a little review for Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. So I did actually like this one a lot more than the first one. Like I said, I feel like there was just more going on. Like, I don't know if it was just like the plot of the first book was like, one, it's setting up the whole world of Harry Potter. Two, it was like, I think someone said that the age rating for that one was like either a literal children's book or like middle grade or something like that, which I did not know going into it. So I think maybe maybe like the way it was written or something just wasn't keeping my attention. I don't know what this is though. Like this might be middle grade also. I could just look it up. I don't want to, I'm being lazy. Something about like the plot of this one, it just kept my attention a lot more. And also I do think it just really helped that I wasn't watching the movie along with it. Like even earlier when I ate lunch, like I'm glad that I didn't watch number 2 because I just feel like I wouldn't have been as invested in what was coming next in the book because everything would have been fresh in my mind, if that makes sense. And I really think that that's a big reason why it messed me up the first time. And I'm so glad that I put on the Harry Potter like ambiance videos because it really does help like immerse you, and it just like felt like such a cozy fall wizardy day today, you know? So loved this. I don't know for my final rating. I think I rated the first one 3 stars, and I did like this one a lot better, but it wasn't anything like, you know, super crazy. So I think I'm gonna go like 3.5 or 3.75, probably 3.5. That like sounds right, but it was still really, really good. I just love Harry Potter so much. I love this book. I did write down a couple of things that I honestly, not that many, because I feel like this book, again, the movie was pretty true to the book. One thing that I wrote down, okay, well, first of all, I think in the last clip I was talking about how one of the older brothers was like shady. I just was laughing at myself by the end of the book because you kind of find out like why he was being shady, and it's like such a funny reason. I won't say because I liked finding that out and I was like, oh, lol, that's literally so funny. I do get it now and like that's funny. Another thing that I wrote down, which is so random, when they were talking about Quidditch, all of a sudden I just realized like, is the game of Quidditch literally pointless? Like they're talking about how, yeah, the game just ends, or the game can't end unless someone catches the golden snitch, and the golden snitch is worth like 150 points. So I'm like, basically the game of Quidditch is just between whoever catches the golden snitch first. Like what is the point of all the other positions if the game can't end? Like in what I was thinking before, like from the movies, and I don't know if they explain this in the movies and I just have missed it every single time that I watch it, but from my understanding from the movies, it was like you go until you score 150 points, or if someone catches the golden snitch first, it's an automatic 150 points and the game's over. But the way that it's described in the book is like, oh, it doesn't end until someone catches the golden snitch. So that kind of like voids all the other positions on the team in my brain, because I'm like, okay, well, if someone has to catch the snitch for the game to end, then it doesn't really matter how many points you score outside of the snitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, but in the movies, I don't know if they changed it because someone else read it and it didn't make sense to them either. I don't know though. So that was, I wrote that down because I was reading it and I was like, hello? Am I dumb or does that not make sense? The next 2 things I'm gonna say are like kind of spoiler territory. So if you want to just skip over this part if you don't want to hear anything about the book. So the next 2 things that I wrote down is 1, I feel like Harry looks, I feel weird saying Harry Potter. I don't know why that just feels so weird to say Harry, like we're on a first name basis. Anyway, I feel like he looks so much more guilty in the books. Like whenever they're going through and everyone suspects that it's him who is like the heir, not the heir. Is it the heir of Slytherin, or how did I already forget what it's called? Everyone suspects that it's him, and I feel like in the movie they make it seem like, oh, everyone's so stupid for believing this, but in the book it's like, okay, kind of, it's valid, you know, like there's so many red flags. I was kind of surprised at like how much more guilty he looked in the book. Like obviously you know it's not him, but I feel like, you know, if I saw that I would kind of be like, that is awfully suspicious. Like if I wasn't Hermione or Ron and I didn't like know Harry that well, I feel like I might be a little suspicious too. So I was kind of surprised by that. And then the other thing that I also was a little bit surprised by, which this goes back to Jenny, and I was talking about this earlier, how like people say that she has a lot more depth in the books, but I feel like I was pleasantly surprised about the whole like notebook thing whenever you find out it's Jenny. I feel like in the movies it doesn't really explain like how Jenny got into the position to be able to be like controlled by Tom Riddle, if that makes sense. But like in the books it really explains how she was able to be manipulated into that position, whereas in the movies I feel like it just feels like, oh, she's just like a dumb little girl and she was able to get tricked so easily because she's just a dumb little girl. And in the books I feel like the way that it explains it, it's like, okay, I do see how that could happen, and then by the time that she realized, it was kind of like out of her control. Like there was nothing that she could do. It's not just because she's young and dumb. She genuinely accidentally ended up in this situation, and then it got so far that there was nothing that she could do about it. So I did really like how you kind of get further depth and explanation, but that just goes along with it being a book. Like obviously you're gonna get a lot more like depth and backstory and explanation to things in the book versus the movie. So I feel like I was really starting to see that in this book, and I'm really excited to start the next one because this one is a little bit longer, and I feel like even in the movies, like this one and the next one are really where I feel like it starts to shift from like a cute, cozy, fun childhood wizard movie to like, okay, things are kind of getting a little bit serious, if that makes sense. Like obviously when you watch the movies you can tell like the vibe slowly gets more and more serious, and I feel like this one and the next one are like kind of the shifting movies from like, okay, it's all kind of fun and games, like that was a little bit scary, but like we're in the world of wizards and stuff, to like, okay, this is actually serious and this is gonna turn into an all-out wizard war, you know? So I'm really excited to read this one and see what extra details we might get in here, or like, I don't know, just I'm really enjoying comparing the differences between the books and the movies because like I said, I love watching the movies. I watch the movies literally year round. They're like my comfort movies, like that, Twilight, Hunger Games. I keep those on a rotation. So I love seeing the differences between like what is in the book and the movies. We're doing so good so far. I'm so excited. So now I have 1 hour and 10 minutes left on the timer. I'm going to download the third book on my Kindle because if you didn't know, all the Harry Potter books are available on Kindle Unlimited. So I'm going to download that and finish out my last hour of reading for today. And then, wow, this is so bright. I'm going to download the next book on my Kindle. I am excited to be a little bit more comfortable and read it on my Kindle. And it's nice that I don't have to pay for the book because it's included in Kindle Unlimited. I'm going to download those real quick, finish out my last hour of reading, and then I will see you guys tomorrow morning when I start our next 12-hour day. Good morning. Oh my god. I'm so tired. I read for the last hour last night. I got to chapter 4. I feel like I was reading this book faster than I was reading the other one. I don't know if it was just because I was excited to like get to the next book, but I made it to page 49, which is chapter 4, like I just said, but I feel like I was flying through it. Like on my Kindle, it says I have 5 hours and 46 minutes left. I don't know if it's because I was reading on my Kindle and it was just like more comfortable for my eyes or something, or I don't know, but I was absolutely flying through this last night. But after my 1 hour was up, I ended up putting on the second movie in bed. And like, I was just gonna relax and stuff, but then I couldn't fall asleep. So then I ended up reading the second Heartstopper book. This is like not Harry Potter related, but this is just what I did last night. And I stayed up until like 3. So I'm so tired. I woke up a little bit late. I made myself a little iced coffee. I just got a new oat milk, so I was trying that out. It's really good so far. And then I sat and I watched some YouTube videos while I got ready because I was like, if I don't get ready today, I'm not gonna make it. Sometimes I just have to get ready to like feel alive, you know? So anyway, got ready. I ended up doing way more eyeshadow than I was planning on because I was watching a YouTube video and I just like, you know, got distracted, and before I know it. So anyway, that was such a random little rant. I made it to chapter 4, like I said, and my Kindle says I have 5 hours and what did I say, 46 minutes? So we may actually be able to start the third book in this video. I doubt we will be finishing it because this is the third. We might be able to start the 4th book in this video, but I doubt we will be finishing it because that book, like I said, is like 700 pages or something like that. From that book on, all of them are, I think, 700 pages plus, and there will be 4 left, so I just never really realized how long the last Harry Potter books were. Like, I didn't really think about it, you know? So anyway, I'm gonna start reading this today. I think I'm actually going to read it on my Kindle for now though, because I was just really enjoying reading it on my Kindle. I do really love reading the hardcovers though, especially because I really like seeing the chapter header things, because a lot of it is like scenes that were included in the movies. So I like to see the illustration that was included in the book versus like how they depicted it on screen. But they do show that in the Kindle version as well, so like it'll be fine, you know. I'm going to start my 10-hour timer. It's 10:17, so we are once again going to be reading a little bit late into the night, but that's okay. We have a 12-hour timer started. Let's read some more. I can't believe how like successful this is going compared to my first one. This is like honestly kind of crazy. I'll probably check in with you guys either in 2.5 hours when I'm like halfway through if I have any updates, or we'll just read as long as we can before I have anything to say. I don't know. I am gonna put on my AirPods though. I need to see if I can find like some Harry Potter ambiance on like Spotify or something, because I am gonna go sit out on the couch and read, but my husband and kids are out there and I will be way too distracted if I can like clearly hear them. So I need to like wear my headphones to just give my brain some separation from their words versus these words, you know? So anyway, I'm gonna look up some Harry Potter ambiance, go get cozy on the couch because I'm tired of being in my room. I've been reading in my room so much lately. I'm like so tired of it. It'll be so much better once I have like a little reading chair and stuff, just to like have a separate space to like go and read and like record, but I'm just so tired of sitting in the same spot to read. So I want to go sit on the couch and be out in an open space and read for a bit. I'm gonna stop rambling now though and start reading. It's actually the end of the day. I did in fact finish Prisoner of Azkaban. It couldn't be more perfect timing because a whole change of events. My sister actually just went, well, she's been in labor all day, but she's going into the hospital right now. So my mom and I are going to go to the hospital, and I literally just finished this book. So it was really perfect timing. I still have 2 hours and 11 minutes on my timer, but I'm going to just end it early once again because I want to be able to just go to the hospital and be in the moment with my sister. She's having her very first baby, so it's so exciting. But also my kids are doing bath time, so that's what that noise is if you're wondering. But yeah, I finished this. I feel like it was really good. I think my final rating for this is going to be like 3.75. Honestly, the first and second books were so similar to the movies, and because they were, I was really expecting this one again to just be like super similar to the movie. But this book from the very start is so different from the movie. Like there's so many differences, and at first I was planning on like writing down some of the differences if I noticed any, but there's literally so many differences within the first like couple chapters even that I was like, okay, I can't write down every single difference and talk about it because it's gonna be like an entire list of things because it's just so different. And it's weird because like I don't necessarily dislike the changes that the movies made, but I just wonder like why they made those changes, because a lot of things that they change, it just feels like, why did you change that? You know, not that it was necessarily good or bad, but I'm a little bit biased because I obviously already love the movies, but I do wonder like what made them come to the decision to change what happens in the movie or how, you know, whatever from the movie to the book, if that makes sense. But let me see if I wrote anything else because I'm like forgetting everything that I was gonna say because I'm excited to go to the hospital. Okay, I do take back what I said about Quidditch earlier because I got further in the book and they were talking about like scoring again, and it makes way more sense. I don't know why I was thinking that, but I take it back because I understand, and I feel like it makes sense now after I read another scene about Quidditch and scoring when they were like doing the Quidditch Cup or whatever. They talked about like scoring and like what their game plan is and how many points they need to get and all this stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. So there is that. Also, can we talk about the fact that in the book, Sirius Black is a vampire? Is that ever said in the movie? Because I swear this book has me like gaslighting myself because I'll read things and I'm like, I swear that was not in the movie, but then I'm like, what if it has been in the movie this whole time and I'm just literally dumb and it has flown over my head, you know? So I swear that was not in the movies though. So when I read that, I was like, excuse me, he's a vampire? Like that's kind of crazy. Also the fact that Harry's dad was also able to transfigure, whatever that's called, that's crazy. That's, I'm pretty sure, never talked about in the movie either. Maybe it is though, and maybe I just have literally never paid enough attention to understand that. Because also I will say, as many times as I've watched the Harry Potter series, I was talking to Mark last night and I was like, honestly, I never pay enough attention during the part where they're explaining like why Sirius Black, like how he was wrongly charged and all that stuff. Like I understood that he was wrongly charged, but I just never fully wrapped my head around that whole situation. And I will say that it obviously happens in the movie a lot faster. Like in the book, you obviously get a lot more explanation, and in the movie it's kind of just like a blur of events, and it's a lot of dark scenes and a lot of things just happen really quickly. So I feel like that's why I never like fully understood it, but I also just like, I'm just there to vibe, you know, like I'm not really paying that much attention. So that was really interesting too, to kind of get that full story. But I think that is like all I have to say. I am considering this a very successful 24-hour Harry Potter readathon. I finished the second and third book in the series, but that is going to be it for today's vlog. I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe before you go, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!